something like the emergency happens, and when sometimes today we see the government of the day being very, very intolerant of any kind of dissidence, when the government of the day does not take firm enough action against people who say they're acting on their behalf and indulge in a lot of divisive violence, I think the people who really suffer are the poor people. And when we see poor people, they also get, in this country, relegated some people. And invariably it's the Dalits, it's the Muslims in the lower caste, because they are the poorest. And they are the most vulnerable. And it's quite amazing that in the emergency, although they were not specific targets, although that is a debatable point, what happened at Turkman Gate, but they were certainly victims. The Dalits, the Muslims, were the worst victims of the emergency, and although they were traditional vote banks of the Congress.
And as Ajoy said, the book made his career. It ruined my career, because I never was an unbiased, neutral journalist. I was always biased. But after this, and all that we saw in the 40 years of journalism, the impact of policy at the grassroots, whether it's a queue for changing notes, or it is sterilization in Chhattisgarh now, or any of the other things that are mentioned here, or the role of people, politics, parties in communal violence. Over the 40 years, I've forgotten how many. We have seen 84, and the people who recognize that. The lack and the delay in justice. There never seems to be any justice. And that is what is needed here, and I hope Fali will shed some more light, because even there were famous judgments of magistrates and judges upholding the abdication of responsibility, upholding the, what should I call it, the vasectomy of the Constitution of India.
Tradition. The only thing which can prevent that is if the institutions of India say, we will not tolerate this. We have a constitution which was given to the people of India, and that is the Constitution of India, which was decided by the fathers of the nation at the time of independence, and that will remain the Constitution. If the institutions stand up and say that, then democracy in this country is assured. But are we certain now that the institutions will not once again fail India, as I believe they did in the emergency? But having said that, I want to make 2 points, slightly in contrast.
Just as people in England, and I wrote about this morning, say, remember the 5th of November, the Guy Fawkes Day. I thought it was in 1605. We must always remember the 26th of June. It's very, very important, because we are, as they said, 1.5 generations away. People, the youngsters today don't know anything about it. They don't know what happened. They only have some rumors. Somebody said something else. And they all said that Indira Gandhi was a murderer. That's all they know. But what's the use of all that? We are not talking about politically that one party is bad or one party is good, or who is good in one party and who is not good in another. In fact, the most important part is, what did people do about it? And that's why this question of institutions becomes so relevant. What did we do about it? Members of Parliament got up and congratulated the Speaker, the Chairman, the Prime Minister, and said that we are so grateful that we can now pass all these bills without any opposition. There was only one poor fellow in opposition. That man was Chandrasekhar. I don't know if all of you know about this. He was the Young Turk. He was known as the Young Turk. We saw him on television yesterday.
that Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee will travel abroad and will not ask me to accompany him. So where are the ministers, the senior most ministers of this government? What are they doing? But nobody is raising a whimper about it. Why? Because they are all scared. They are all scared. The senior most ministers of this government have created a situation where the cabinet does not function on the basis of, or the government does not function on the basis of collective responsibility. And we'll say nothing has happened. No, no, no. It's not comparable to 1975. Parliament of India. In the last session, and why do these things go unnoticed? I don't know. In the last session of Parliament, many parties, as you are aware, moved motions of no confidence against the government. Day after day, the House will be disrupted. And the Honorable Speaker will say, I can't count 50 people. And therefore, the House will be adjourned, and the vote of no confidence will not be, motion of vote of no confidence will not be taken up. We let it pass. Nothing happened. Of course, the government would not have lost. What were they running away from? They were running away from a discussion.